He is one of the select few who shaped the medium you are now watching, together with what is considered the greatest talent ever assembled for a weekly television show. That talent, Imogene Coca, Mel Brooks, Carl Reiner, Neil Simon, Woody Allen. Sid Caesar's Your Show of Shows defined American humor of the 50s. But no one who saw him in those days could have believed what was to follow. After 1958, when NBC canceled his contract, Caesar began what he now calls his 20-year blackout, a heavy addiction to pills and alcohol. Today, Sid Caesar has returned from the edge, and he's here to talk about it. Jessica Savage, arguably the most prominent and powerful woman in television news today, and the author of the autobiographical Anchorwoman. These are Mike's guests, along with the entertainment news from Sandy Canyon, and it's all coming up. From Hollywood, it's Mike Douglas, People Now. Now, here's Mike.
Thank you very much. Well, here we are with Sid Caesar. I was just telling this man what I said to him the first time I met him, and you remembered it.
Yes.
Which is frightening.
Well, you know, when you stop drinking, you don't take pills, you remember things.
You know, there's a whole generation who, except for what they hear from their parents, never saw your show of shows.
I know.
And they probably don't know you. Now, Saturday Night Live was the beginning of comedy skits, and
that's what
after your show, the first thing I saw was Saturday Night Live that remotely resembled what you guys did.
Right.
Can you comment on things like that? Do you watch shows like that, by the way? Saturday?
Once in a while, yes, I do. I enjoy the show, but the only thing I found that I got not mad at, but it sort of made me frustrated, was that they would get a great idea, you know, a real good idea, say, hey, that's great. And they'd start to develop it, and they wouldn't take it, and they wouldn't take it to the end. You know, they wouldn't develop it right through. And that would frustrate me, make me a little mad, because they had good stuff, and they had good ideas. And the main thing I want to say about, see, they have the freedom. We didn't have the freedom that they had.
No, you couldn't do or say the things
One thing I understand is that we couldn't say pregnant. That was a dirty word. Pregnant was a dirty word. We couldn't say, we had to say she is with child, she is expecting shortly.
Yeah.
That's all. But we couldn't make fun of sex in any way. We could allude to it if you stayed above here, if you stayed above the nose.
Just with the eyes. Just
that's all. That's all you could do. And you could not touch. You could do like a generic politician, you know, but not any one politician. You couldn't make fun of any one. And religion, we couldn't go anywhere near religion.
Let's show the people who may not have seen Sid Caesar in those days, some of the young people out there watching, what he's all about. We have some clips from your show of shows, which should be in a space capsule somewhere. they're that good. Roll them, Terry, please.
Yes, sir. Come on up here, Al. The intimate story. He's a little overwhelmed, a little overwrought, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you'll just come this way, Al. Al, this is going to be the story of your life. We're going to tell the intimate, inside story.
Do you recognize this voice, Al?
Hello, Al. Remember me? I used to encourage you. I helped you in those desperate years when you needed help so very much. I guided you, encouraged you, and did so much to mold your character and make you the person you are today.
Did I hear it again?
That's wonderful, Sid. And those weren't piped-in laughs.
No,
That wasn't,
that's the
that's
laugh.
real laughter.
The theater that you saw first when I did the satire of This Is Your Life, that was done in the sister theater to the Radio City Music Hall. That was 4,500 seats. And I remember a story there. When we moved into that theater to do the show, I mean, I looked at it and I said, my God, it's 4,500 seats. That you can't put just a couple of sets around, and get a reaction because I have to feel the people. So I said, why don't we put up a big screen like we did in the other show? They said, well, Sid, the other theater was smaller, and this one has a large throw, and it's a huge throw, we can't just do it. We worked it out mathematically, we put it down, we wrote out all the numbers, you can't do it. I said, did you try it? He says, no, we can't do it. I mean, it's going to cost a lot of money to put it up. I said, would you put it up, please? Well, it's gonna I said, put it up, would you please? I'll pay for it, whatever it is.
Really?
Didn't make any difference. So they put it up, and they said, see, it doesn't, it's blurred. It doesn't, you can't get a clear picture. I said, focus! The guy turns it and focused it. They had all the calculations, but they hadn't the focus in it.
If someone...
And if I didn't have that, my gosh.
If someone had said to you in 1949 that TV would become so popular with dozens of cable stations, what would you have said?
Well, I knew it was going to be a growing industry, because it really, it's an addiction. A lot of people are addicted to television.
They sit there
and they sit there and watch anything, They can watch a test pattern after a while. But the people are getting very, very discerning now. They like to watch what they want to watch, and I think that's the market that's coming in. We're not going to have broadcast anymore as per se. I think we're going to have what they call narrowcasting instead of broadcasting, because people are interested in sports. There are cable stations that just do sports.
You know, things that always amaze me about you, you're so enormously talented and so gifted. But you found it difficult to walk out in front of a camera and say, good evening, I'm Sid Caesar, welcome to your show. It's the toughest thing in life for you, wasn't it?
The toughest thing I had to do was, and I had to have a card. It was the only thing I had to have a card.
With your name on it?
With no cards, no teleprompter, no nothing. And this, just good evening, ladies and gentlemen, because I had to be me.
Yeah, of course.
I couldn't hide behind a character. And when that happened, I stiffened up and I was not me. I was trying to hide behind a facade of me.
Somebody told me that who worked on the
Larry
show.
Gelbart used to write the opening 40 times just so I can say, no, put the doll over here. Good evening to the show. It was, I didn't know what I was, because
but you had the rest of it committed to memory, all that?
Well, it wasn't memory so much as because I was in the writing room. We wrote, and the writing room was a beautiful and a terrible place to be.
Madness.
We're
going to talk about that in a moment. We have to pause for one of those things.
Okay.
We'll be right back, right after this.
Yes, sir.
Was machen Sie da und Brötchen auf Brötchen?
Brötchen auf Brötchen machen.
Alt! Du hast gejingelt, die Mädels? Du bist der Mädel-Jingler? Ja? Und das Mädel für die 50-Yard-Dash, was?